Ericka here. So I got asked to do a little fly fishing tutorial. So I decided to kind of do a who, what, when, where, and why about it. Just a little thing about me. I came from Nassau, Bahamas. I was always into saltwater fishing. I decided I went to Bass Pro Shops. They had a fly fishing department. So I said, you know what? This is something I might want to do. It's different. I don't know many fly fishermen, and let's get into it and see. So I went and bought a fly fishing rod and reel there, $100 rod and reel. Fly fishing rods and reel can get very expensive. So I said, you know what? I'll see if I like it. And so pretty much I went there. I talked to a guy named Mark, and I also talked to a guy named Alfredo, and they both really got me excited about fly fishing. So first off, I start off with, so I guess this would be, so the who would be them getting me into it, Bass Pro Shops. That was pretty much it. My father wasn't into it. My family wasn't into it. I'm from South, I'm in South Jersey, and not a lot of people fly fish that I know of. So I just thought it was different and cool. So yeah, that's the who. So this is the what. So the what I use, this is a White River Dogwood Canyon rod, and also a White River 7-weight reel. That might be one thing that's difficult when you go in. You're like, what am I gonna buy? What, I have no clue. So they pretty much told me a 7-weight rod and reel is great for bass fishing, but also if I want to get into schoolie striper, which that's my background, my love is in saltwater, I could do that. So I said 7-weight, that's perfect, And even to this, so this is a 7-weight reel and 7-weight rod. I've also noticed that the rod is more important than the reel. The rod is, this rod's very flexible and it's durable, which is really good for me. I have a very interesting lifestyle, and this is something that I keep in the back of my trunk, my little car, and I bring around with me every single day, and I still use it. I have many other rods. I have Temple Fork Outfitters rods. I have Orvis rods. I have Bass Pro rods. But this White River rod is like my absolute favorite. Just because it's so durable and it's flexible, and it'll catch me, some huge fish or some small little bluegill. So it's perfect for me. So pretty much what I have here is I have a 7-weight line. I have background here, line, and then I have a leader. So that's pretty much as simple as that goes. What's nice about this is that the line does get kind of confusing when you're getting into fly fishing, because there's just so many different things that you need to know. It has to be a certain measurement, or it all has to do with a percentage. So you have to have a percentage of line, leader, everything. So what's nice about this is that the Bass Pro Shops White River Dogwood Canyon comes with line, comes with everything. So all you got to do is, it's actually already on there. So that's really nice. And then later, you can look, you can figure it out. You can talk to people at Bass Pro Shops. They can tell you how exactly to do it, and that's kind of what I did. But yeah, so this is the equipment that I use. I also use one of these. So this is a Redington. I guess it's like just a vest. Very nice, because when you get out in the middle of the water and you have, a whole bunch of flies on you, it's nice just to put them everywhere, because it's definitely kind of hard to be switching things in the middle of the water, which I usually go out with waders and stuff like that. So basically that is my equipment. I also use, this is my White River trout leader, depending on what I'm using, but trout. This is a 7.5 foot, 5-pound test, but this depends, whatever you're going for. So yeah, so that is my what I use. Now I'll go into what I use with flies. So with my fly fishing tackle box, I have many different. I have saltwater, I have freshwater, and I have all different types of. I actually have a certain fly box that's just for certain lakes, because I've noticed that through using different flies, it's definitely one thing will work differently than another. A lot of people say it might be difficult to get into fly fishing because, what flies do you use? There's so many different flies. Well, you just get out there and you use them. One thing that I started off with was a woolly bugger. That's only because a woolly bugger, woolly bugger. This is only because somebody told me this is like the best fly for trout or bass. Um, but for me it didn't work well, but it was nice because I had a weight on there. So first learning how to fly fish, it was a little more easy to throw out, to cast. But it didn't really work well for me. It still doesn't work well now, but this is still a go-to for many fly fishermen. My go-to I love is poppers. Bass poppers are my absolute favorite. I love seeing these bass just devour these poppers. And just, small bass, huge bass, even like bluegills. I love catching bluegills because they have like a little fight and it's funny how these little tiny things just go up after these poppers. But I actually use Bet's poppers. I first started with Bet's poppers. They were at Bass Pro Shops. And they look like little insects, but they also could look like many different things. So that's why these are awesome, because they look like so much different, bugs. But there's so many different colors. I love the ones that are green that kind of look like a frog, but this one's nice too. And different waters, these are perfect. And then I got into, so I used Bet's poppers, loved them. But then the fish would devour them and just tear them up. So I decided, well, maybe I'll try something different. Um, and this right here, I actually had this a very nice guy from Facebook. He actually made these for me. Um, his name's Richard Nations, and he made me this popper right here, and it's actually absolutely perfect for my area of fishing because there's so many bullfrogs around. So anything that simulates what? Oh, this one's amazing. This one's so cool. But they absolutely love them in one of my quarries that I fish at, and it's amazing seeing a huge largemouth jumping out after a popper. So I think it's important to start off with a popper, just because it kind of does get frustrating if you're not catching. This, you can see them going after it. Not all the time you can hook into one, but it's exciting. It's still so exciting just to see them jumping up after these flies. So this is perfect, and I use that with my floating line that I have on my fly. Another thing I use is um, pretty much you want to match the hatch. So you're looking around for all the flies that are around you, all the different insects that are around you. So you have to it's not too difficult, but you have to think about it. What are these fish eating, So the other day, for instance, I wasn't catching anything all day. I noticed that there was flies all over me. So I said, why don't I try like a horse fly? So I tried just one of these, something so simple, and I just started catching them instantly because this is what they're eating right now. So pretty much that is my the flies that I kind of started off with. So the poppers I use, the woolly buggers. I actually tried mayflies at first, which worked in my area for largemouth. There's certain things that actually worked well for trout, but I noticed that they worked well for me. So for bass, so I just tried a whole bunch of different things, and once I saw them producing, I just kept on using them. And it just takes, you catch something with one thing, and then you try something else. So it's fun. It's definitely a lot of fun because it's something different, and you never know what you'll catch from one spot to another. So one thing you can use one place versus the other. So yeah, pretty much that is what I use. That's kind of I also have some tips and tricks. One tip I'll give you. I'll give you my one tip of mine. One little trick is I actually use Mega Strike. A lot of people use them on their football jigs or whatever on their plastics, but I use these on my flies sometimes. However, you have to be careful with it does put a little bit more weight onto your fly, but that's great for me because in South Jersey I get a lot of days where it's windy and I'm like, oh, I can't go fly fishing today, but that's not the case. You just gotta change things up a little bit and see what works for you. And this gets my flies a little bit heavier, which might get that fly farther out for me. Um, so yeah, pretty much, the only thing that I can think of that I didn't really say was how to fly. So who? Let's see. We said the who, what to use, where. The quarries are amazing. Quarries are just, the blue holes. Clear water is amazing to use when you're first starting. And when you're first starting, for me, when I got some flies from some amazing people on Facebook. And they, I need to go out and see how they worked. And going out to a quarry or a really clear lake is great because, you can see how those fish are going after those flies. So the who, what, when fly fishing is amazing because I've noticed um, with spin fishing and bait fish or bait cast using bait casters, I always want to go in the morning or in the afternoon or the morning or at night, like dusk and dawn. I've noticed with fly fishing, I'm going out there at like 1 o'clock in the middle of the day, worst conditions, and I'm catching fish with my fly rod. So that's another perk about fly fishing. You can do it any time of the day, and it's it's just so natural. And then also places, you could be going out to a park, or you'd be going out to somewhere that's overfished, and a lot of places around here are very overfished. But you go out there with the fly and they're biting like crazy because they're like, what is this? They think it's natural, unlike a big bait. um, so you just have to learn how to work that. And no, it's perfect. So let's say when, where, why, and how. So last thing is how. Um, that is one of the most difficult parts, I feel like, with fly fishing, and why people get so um, frustrated, because it's an art, I think. The way that you have to use your you have to do, it's all about a lot of people go like this. That, when you're first starting out, even to this day, sometimes I do it and I say, no, Ericka, you can't do that. You don't want to use your wrist. You want to use 10 to 2. So you want to go, so think of it as a clock. So 10 to 2, 10 to 2. And pretty much, a lot of people want to go and then bring it back. Pretty much it's an equal motion. So you want to go 10 to 2, 10 to 2. And you're pretty much like you're pretty much doing the same type of motion both ways. As long as you're doing the same motion both ways, you should be fine. And pretty much, when you're doing that, you need to make sure that when you are you need to make sure that your line's going all the way back and all the way forward equally. As long as they're equal, you should be good. And it just takes, for me, I go out, I've gone out my backyard, and I've, just tried it and watched how, it was first without any fly on it, then put in a fly on it, then a heavier fly, and just watched how it goes. And then you can get into roll casts and get into different casts. But really, I just went out by myself, started to fly fish. I was like, I don't want anybody to see me because I'm probably going to look crazy. But, I did 10 to 2, 10 to 2, and just kept on. And pretty much once you know that you're doing it correctly, that line's supposed to be very, for lack of a better word, daintily, like very, like, gently just tapping the water. And that tapping is just kind of teasing the fish. And it's just, you want to tap, tap, and that's exactly how you want to do it. You want to go straight out. You don't want any curves or anything. You want to go straight out. So pretty much 10 to 2, and keep doing that. And after you're doing it, and once you're catching fish, it's super exciting. And I know all I want to say is that for me, I got into it not really knowing a lot of people that fly fish. I went on YouTube channels and I asked people, and I kind of, more or less, I went out there and just did it myself. And I try to see what works, what doesn't work, and you know, as long as what I like to say to people is that, there's no right or wrong way to fish as long as you're catching fish. So you just go out there and you have fun, and it's so relaxing getting out and just, sometimes just by yourself and just, catching some fish and having a good time and learning something new. So yeah, absolutely. I mean, Bass Pro Shops is a great help for me online, and also if you guys have any questions whatsoever, I'm all about teaching people, teaching women, young women how to fly fish, teaching, men to fly fish. It's definitely something, that I'm not perfect at, but that I have a passion for, and I think I got into it in a great way. So, if you guys have any questions whatsoever, just comment or leave me a message, and I'll be so happy to help you. But otherwise, guys, good luck out there and fish on.